Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Stand up for your country. Nothing much on President Biden's schedule today. A little briefing here, a little lunch there. He's prepping for the big press conference tomorrow. We will be on live, 8 p.m. Eastern, tomorrow evening for all our affiliates out there. It's going to be a pretty heavy news day, and I want to be on it for the Biden press conference and reaction to it. So I have 6 questions, vital questions, important questions that should be asked. And if you have a pen and paper, fun exercise, you might just write them down. If you are a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge, remember, you can access our transcripts. We put out the transcripts of the show every night, so you could see the questions there. But these 6 have to be asked. Will they be asked? I don't know. First one, Mr. President, you campaigned on mitigating COVID, but it is worse now than under President Trump. Why? And a follow-up, do you support school shutdowns over COVID? So that's number one. We want to get to the bottom of why the Biden administration has performed worse than the Trump administration in mitigating COVID, right? That's what everybody's affected by, and that's the first question. Very specific. Why? Why is this all happening, do you think? Second question, very simple again. Mr. President, what specifically are you doing to stop inflation? Now, it doesn't get more simple or simpler than that question. But the specific word, what specifically? What are you doing? Come on, man. So that's number 2. Number 3, Mr. President, always respectful. Why have millions of migrants enter the USA illegally on your watch? Far more than the last year of the Trump administration. Why? What's going on down there? Can you explain why more than 2 million encountered the Border Patrol last year? That doesn't count the people that got through the Border Patrol and never saw. Why? Why is all this happening? Question number 4. Mr. President, do you oppose voters showing identification before casting a ballot? If so, why? Now, this is the key to the Voting Rights Act. No ID. No. Why? Why? Got to have an ID to buy booze, cigarettes. Got to have an ID to go many, many places. Got to have an ID to get on a plane. No voting ID? Why? How does that? And if he says it suppresses the vote, then you go, well, how? How? See, now that's a key right there. Number 5, now we're getting controversial. Mr. President, can you define critical race theory? What does that mean to you? I'd love to hear his definition, wouldn't you? Do you think Joe Biden can define critical race theory? I mean, these questions don't give you a lot of wiggle room. Now, would he answer any of them? No. But then you would see, obviously, that he's not answering them. And the final question I have is, do you believe CRT, critical race theory, is a valid subject for school children? All right. So just in case you don't know, because we have viewers all over the world on this broadcast, just in case you don't know what critical race theory is, theory is the key word there, because not proven. But the people who invented this and who push it believe that the United States is not a noble nation because the foundation of our power, success, and capitalistic system was built on the backs of slaves. So even in Boston and New York City, where they never had slavery to any great extent, that southern plantation agricultural economy built what we have now. So therefore, people of color deserve preferential treatment. That's critical race theory. Okay? Does Joe Biden know that? I don't think so, but maybe he'd surprise me. So that's why I'm asking a question. So if you're going to have a theory taught to 8-year-olds who have no capacity to put anything into perspective, if you're going to give them that theory, is that a good thing? To teach them that their country is not a good place? Yes or no, Mr. President? Now, I can tell you that these critical race theory questions will never be asked. I don't think the voter ID question will be asked because that just blows up Mr. Biden's premise and the Democratic Party's premise that Republicans want to suppress the vote. Well, asking for an ID isn't suppressing the vote. It's assuring that the citizen casting the ballot is who he or she says she is. Now, I know you might be able to not say in Cambridge, Massachusetts, or Palo Alto, California, the words he or she, but you get my drift. Okay? So, again, we got COVID, we got inflation, we got the border madness, we got CRT, we got voter ID. If you get answers to those 6 questions, you advance the dialogue on the Biden administration immeasurably. But I know they'll ask a question about COVID, and that's what Biden's rehearsing right now. They'll pepper him with COVID questions. And it's not like Joe Biden is going to be spontaneous in the moment. He's not. He's going to memorize and have written down for him answers to the questions that they believe, they being the Biden administration and his advisors, are coming. You know COVID's coming. You know an inflation question is coming. Okay? They have to. They have to. There will be some beards. You know what a beard is? A beard is someone who is covering for someone else. So among the White House press corps, there will be some beards in there who want to give Biden relief. And they will ask him ridiculous questions, questions that he can spend 5-6 minutes on that are not a challenge, don't mean anything. Write those down, and I will too, because I'm going to have the whole thing. So anyway, there are a lot of other questions to be asked. I'm giving you 6 big ones, all right? Big, I want to know what Mr. Biden thinks about those 6. I could come up with 10 more, 20 more without a problem. But I don't want to ask theoretical questions. My questions, if you remember when I was on Fox News and I interviewed the presidents, were all fact-based. So here's the fact, what are you going to do about it? Inflation's at 10%, what are you going to do about it? More than 2 million migrants have encountered Border Patrol last fiscal year. What are you going to do about it and why is that happening? Fact-based. You get into theory, they take it anywhere. That was the beauty of the Trump history tour. All my questions were fact-based. And he answered most of them. And we are thinking about how to distribute all the tape that we have. We'll come up with something soon. Again, we will be live on Wednesday tomorrow to play you the most important parts of the press conference. I will analyze it and then the reaction to it. So it should be well worth watching tomorrow. So this is from the New York Post, and it says that 28% of his first year as president was spent in Delaware. Joe Biden. About a third, close to a third of his presidential time, first year in Delaware. I don't have a problem with that. I never had a problem with Trump going out playing golf in Mar-a-Lago, or Obama taking the summer off in Martha's Vineyard. I don't have a problem with it, because you can work, and I do. Wherever I am, I have to continue to monitor what's happening in the world. So it doesn't matter whether you're in Washington or you're in Delaware. You know, with the communications that we have now, you can do your job. So I don't have any problem with that. Do I think Joe Biden is a slacker? Yeah, I do. I don't think he works as hard as most presidents, particularly comparing him to Barack Obama. Obama worked a lot, and Trump did too, but Trump's schedule was kind of erratic. Obama was a disciplined schedule every day, beginning with 7:30 in the morning. Biden kind of saunters in about 9:30, 10. And again, nothing wrong with that if he works overtime, like Trump worked, you know, all night. You know, he didn't start early, but he worked into the night. Anyway, I don't have a problem with Biden being in Delaware. I do think he's a slacker. Could be wrong. Are you looking for your next investment? Bill O'Reilly here. There are 8 reasons to look at the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund. Stable monthly cash flow payouts with double-digit targeted bonus returns. They strategically develop in lower-risk, high-demand neighborhoods. Prime new construction is short on supply and high on demand. Diversification is safety from stock market risk. They have a short and long-term strategy for returns today and down the road. Specifically designed pandemic-hardened buildings. They are 15-year industry leaders with a proven track record. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines or want to diversify, please start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Now, the leftist media are getting very nervous, and you know that, very nervous about Joe Biden. Not because they like Joe Biden, they don't. The progressive leftist media, they have no use for Biden. He's just a pawn. But they see the progressive movement going down with Biden. So they're really nervous. And here's the proof of that. Throw it on the screen. Maureen Dowd is a signature columnist at the New York Times. The New York Times is now a progressive organization. It's no longer a news gathering organization. So Ms. Dowd says in her Sunday column, quote, "As hapless as Biden and his coterie are, we can't give up on the president because he's all that stands between us and the apocalypse. The hands of Trump, DeSantis, Pence, Kristi Noem, and future Chief Justice Amy Coney Barrett." Maureen Dowd. So who's us? All right, I don't get this. We can't give up on the president. Who's we? Who's us? Obviously, that's the progressive movement she's talking to. Now, she's a columnist. She can say what she wants. But it's like we and us, and this is like the rest of the barbarians, you know, oh. So, and then he said the apocalypse at the hands of Trump. If you examine, as I have, the Trump policies in 4 years as compared to the Biden policies in 1 year, there's no comparison about whose policies were better for the United States. It's not even close. Under Trump, there was no inflation. We were energy independent. There weren't any shortages or supply line problems. China wasn't threatening Taiwan. Putin wasn't threatening Ukraine. None of that was happening. It's not even, I mean, it's so dramatic that anyone who would tell you that Biden is doing a better job as president than Trump is either stone cold stupid or a liar. You just put up what happened. Even the handling of COVID which no president could handle. Nobody has a magic wand and say COVID's going away. Okay? But under Trump, it wasn't as bad as COVID is under Biden. Okay. Now, even though the leftist media trying desperately, any way they can, to prop up the progressive movement, it's not working. So I've always said to you, the reason that I'm not depressed and that I'm not down, I get a lot of mail, the country's gone and it's not coming back and America's had it, and all, is because essentially I believe most Americans are fair-minded people. Gone to every state in the union, every major city. I can tell you from Presque Isle, Maine to San Diego, from Fairbanks, Alaska to Key West, what is going on. I know this country. I know that most people can be misled, and some of them have gone off the deep end because of Trump hatred. That's true. But most of them, when it's crunch time, and it is now, they come back. Here's the proof. Gallup poll, 12,416 adults, okay, taken in December and January. In politics, as of today, do you consider yourself a Republican or a Democrat? 1 year ago, the answer was 49% Democrat, 40% Republican. That was a year ago. Now, the answer is 42% Democrat, 47% Republican. So Republicans, according to Gallup, on a 12,000 man woman poll, okay, Republicans lead Democrats now. You know, you got midterms coming. This is why the progressive left media, they don't know what to do. They're losing money. CNN, MSNBC, network news, all viewership all going down, particularly younger viewers. Newspapers going out of business, okay? The left-wing media goes, now we're going to lose our progressive movement. Because if Biden goes down, the progressive movement goes down. It's tied in. Again, Biden is their pawn. So I wanted to just bring you up to date on the Trump rally that happened in Arizona. Our best reporting, and we did some reporting on this, is that 15,000 people showed up. Okay, it's a nice crowd. Nice crowd. And there were a lot of other speakers, but the president, former president, spoke for 2 hours. Wow, 2 hours. Now, the only people who took the speech were Newsmax and One America News. Okay? Fox News did not take it, which I thought was a major mistake. But on Fox Nation, which costs $65 a year, they did run it on their subscription service. I said to myself, you know, you got a Saturday, not a lot going on, got a former president, you can't take 30 minutes of his speech? Why not? If I'm the news director, I take it. Why wouldn't you take it? If you're Fox News. Your audience is obviously traditional conservative, many Trump supporters. Why wouldn't you take it? It's an interesting question. And I don't know the answer to it. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's noticed everything is getting more expensive. We are in the biggest economic crisis since 2008, with a government that's printing trillions of dollars. Consumer prices at the highest we've seen in 30 years. Inflation certainly here. And if the government continues its out-of-control printing and spending, the dollar could continue its free fall and lose its coveted role as the world's reserve currency. While paper money will eventually have a shrinkage in value, there are real tangible things that will always maintain value. So how do you protect your money, your retirement, your savings? American Hartford Gold can show you how to hedge your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. All it takes to get started is a short phone call, and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. Plus, tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. So please don't wait. Call them now, 866-501-5201, 866-501-5201, or text Bill to 65532. Again, 866-501-5201, or text Bill to 65532. All right, final thought of the day. We're not living in the moment anymore because of this. So I walked into the deli to get a sandwich a few hours ago. Instead of people like talking to each other or looking at how their sandwich is being made, and you ought to do that because the order sometimes gets screwed up. Not living in the moment. And I'm guilty too, not on the machine so much. I'm not addicted to the machine. I use it for work and try to put it away. But when I'm doing something like brushing my teeth, I'm not thinking about brushing my teeth. I'm thinking about something else. So I don't brush my teeth the way I should brush my teeth. If I'm doing a chore or I'm doing my mind is I gotta do that, and you get hurt that way. Physically, you can get hurt that way. Or walk into something, close the door on your hand. Live in the moment if you can. It's a discipline. Whatever you do, concentrate on what you're doing then, no matter how banal it is. All right? If you're cooking something, concentrate on the cooking. Because if you think about it, the food's not going to come out the way you want it to. All right? And be careful with that knife, and you get hurt. Live in the moment. Whatever you're doing, concentrate on that. If something else arises, put one thing aside and then do whatever arises. I can't tell you how distracted Americans are, and it hurts us. So just think about that. And I don't want any of my audience getting hurt. We need every single one of you. Thanks for watching today. Tomorrow live, 8 Eastern, with the Biden press conference. In a world that seems to have lost its way, who can you count on? AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, that's who. Now more than 2 million members strong, AMAC believes in the values that we constitutional people care about. AMAC represents courage, faith, and reason in these trying times. They stand for national solvency in a time of runaway debt, national security and sovereignty over unchecked borders, and they believe in the sanctity of life. These next 2 years are going to be tough. Now is the time to join AMAC. AMAC also gives you access to a wealth of benefits and discounts that will save you money, including AMAC's bi-monthly magazine delivered right to your mailbox. So please join today at amac.us. That's amac.us. AMAC is better for you, better for America.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.